Good morning, my dear happy children. I know you're very happy because now you're receiving the recorded lessons and you must be really enjoying the lessons, right? Yes, children. Now, in my previous lesson, I taught you about the naughty onion. Remember? Yes, children. What did you learn from that lesson? You learned a moral from that lesson. Can you tell me what is it? What did you learn? Right. You learned not to be troublesome. You see, the onion was naughty, right? And then you learned that we should not be troublesome. We should not be bad, but we should be good. And when we are around, people should be happy and not say, oh my God, this naughty child is here. No, that's not what we wanted, right? So, whenever you learn a lesson, children, whether it's a lesson or a poem, every lesson or a poem will have a moral or a value to it, which it's just not for that lesson, it's just not for that period, but the lesson that you learn is a lifetime lesson, children. Okay, so in our previous chapter, the naughty onion, you learned that you should be a good child and people should love you. When you're around, they should be happy and not feel that you're such a headache. Okay? My topic for today is the rooks, which is the second lesson from 4th standard. Now, a rook. Okay, a rook is a bird. If I ask you children, can you name some birds? What will you tell me? You will say sparrow, you will tell me pigeon, swan, peacock, crow, okay, duck. These are the names that you generally tell me. Did you hear the name rook? This poem is about a bird called a rook, or rooks are birds. I'm just going to show you the picture, okay? Now this is a picture of a rook. What is a rook? A rook is a black bird that belongs to the crow family. I'm also going to show you a picture of a crow, and I want you to compare both the pictures. Now this is a picture of a crow and this is a picture of a rook. Okay, did you watch it carefully? Now look, almost they look similar. That is why we say a rook is a bird that belongs to the crow family. It almost looks like a crow, but it's not a crow. Understood? So, let me take you to the lesson, the rooks. So, now you got it clear. The rooks means birds. Now, this poem was written by Jane Euphemia Brown. I will also show you the picture of Jane Euphemia Brown. Now this is a picture of Jane Euphemia Brown. Now Jane Euphemia Brown was a famous Australian poet. What do you mean by the word poet? A poet means someone who writes poems. You know children, a poet always has lovely imaginations. Their imaginations are way beyond. They are beautiful imaginations. Now one day, when Jane Euphemia Brown was sitting beside a stream. What do you mean by stream? Stream is water bodies. It's flowing water. And beside the water bodies, the water, you find the banks. Now, by the banks, there are lovely trees, beautiful flowers, and it was so beautiful. Now, Jane Euphemia Brown was sitting under a tree and she was watching the rooks flying, and she was also observing the rooks building a nest. Okay, now I already informed you, poets have nice imaginations, and so she writes this poem, The Rooks. Okay, so I'm going to take you to the explanation of this poem. Before that, I will read the lesson. I will explain to you. Understood? So open with me to page number 21. And as always, please keep your textbook and your pencils always ready when you sit for your second language English class. Okay. The Rooks, written by Jane Euphemia Brown. The rooks are buildings on the trees. They build there every spring. Cow, cow is all they say, for none of them can sing. They're up before the break of day and up till late at night. For they must labor busily as long as it is light. And many a crooked stick they bring, and many a slender twig, and many a tuft of moss, until their nests are round and big. Cow, cow, oh what a noise they make in rainy weather. Good children always speak by turns, but rooks all talk together. Okay? You have your pencils with you, and I want you to first underline the words that are a little bit difficult. Okay? Once you underline the words, I will also teach you how to split and learn the word. Once you're able to read the word, you will be able to read the poem clearly and fluently. So let's start with the first line. Right, children? The first line, underline buildings. B-U-I-L-D-I-N-G-S, buildings. Below that, every, E-V-E-R-Y, every. Spring, S-P-R-I-N-G, spring. As I say the words, please make sure that you are underlining the difficult words. Once again, I'll teach you the first and second line, the words that are a bit difficult. Buildings, B-U-I-L-D, build, I-N-G-S, ings, buildings. Every, second line, E-V-E-R-Y, every. Spring, S-P-R-I-N-G, spring. Okay. Fourth line, for none of them can sing. None, N-O-N-E, none. The next line, they've. Now you are going to say, actually it is they are. Okay? But we are going to say it in a short form. They've. T-H-E-Y apostrophe. Look at this line. T-H-E-Y apostrophe R-E. They've. Which means they are. But when we say they've. Okay? Next line. Labor. 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 Busily. 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 Below that, crooked. 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 Stick. 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 Below that, slender. Slen. Der. Slender. Twig. 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 Below that, tuft. Tuft. Moss. Moss. Then please go to the last line. Together. 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 All the spellings that I told you, underline. Practice it. Together. Together. Understood? Once you learn to pronounce the word, you will be able to split and read very well. Okay? Now you're fluent in the spellings. You know how the spellings are and you're able to read. I'm also going to take you to the meanings of the words. Before I can take you to the explanation, the meanings are in page number 22. Page. Rook. A black bird of the crow family. Okay? Rook is a type of bird that belongs to the crow family. Labor. Work hard. Crooked. Crooked is not straight or bent or curved. Slender means thin. Twig. A small dry woody piece fallen from a branch. Tuft. A piece of hair or grass. Moss. A very small green or yellow plant. Turn with me to page number 21. Okay? I'll teach you step by step. I'll explain to you. The Rooks, written by Jane Euphemia Brown. It's her full name. The rooks are buildings on the trees. They build there every spring. Now what does a rook do? The rooks will keep building their nest. What do the rooks do? They keep building their nest during springtime. Okay, look at this. The rooks, they go pick up the dry leaves, the twigs, and then they build a nest. Cow, cow is all they say, for none of them can sing. You know, children, singing is a lovely voice. It sounds beautiful. Now, rooks, they cannot sing at all. And you know, some birds, their sounds are so nice to hear, so pleasant to hear. But rooks, the sound they make, no, cow, cow, that such an irritating sound. And the whole day they keep saying cow, cow, because nobody can sing. None of the rooks can sing. Their voice is bad. Their voice is coarse. Understood? They're up before the break of day. They're up before the break of day and up till late at night. What do you mean they're up? Means early morning they get up, even before sunrise. Even before the sun can rise, they're already up. And then they work till late at night, till it's night, till it becomes dark, till it's almost getting dark, they work. Okay, they work till late at night. For they must labor busily. They must work busily. For what? They need to feed themselves, they need to feed their family, and also they need to build their home. What is their home? Their home is their nest. Okay, they need to build a nest. So they are busy the whole day. Look, throughout the day, what are the rooks doing? They are busy. Their job is to build their home, their nest. Okay. For they must labor busily as long as it is light. Throughout the day, they are working. And many a crooked stick they bring. What do? They bring many crooked stick. Now look, this is a crooked stick. Can you see this? It's a crooked stick. Can you look at this? This is another crooked stick. See, look, crooked. Now, crooked is, it's not straight. Look at this stick, children. This is straight. But can you call this straight? Definitely no. Can you call this straight? No. This is crooked. This is bent. This is curved. Or we can say crooked. So they pick up many crooked stick. And many a slender twig. Now many a slender twig. It's a dry sticks like this. Thin. They pick up these many slender twigs, dry sticks that have fallen from the branch. They are very thin. Look at this, they are very thin. And many a tuft of moss until. And many a tuft of moss until. This is moss. Can you see this picture, children? Generally, you will find it in places that are wet. Okay, on walls and on places. This is one picture of a moss, and this is another picture of a moss. Wherever it is wet, the place is wet, it's too damp, you will find these kind of plants coming up. Now, if you touch these plants, they are very soft. So what do? They will pick up these moss and then they will take it to their nest and they'll put it so that it looks like a soft bed for them, bedding. Okay. So many a tuft of moss until. Now what do you mean by moss? Moss and tuft. So I showed you a picture of a moss, and this is tuft, grass, which grows in cluster, in groups. It can also be hair, bunch of hair. Now when you comb your hair, children, generally in a comb, when you comb your hair, you get in the comb some hair gets tangled, then we remove that hair and then we throw it. Now that kind of hair, if it's anywhere on the floor, anywhere on the ground, these birds will pick it up and they will go and use it for their nest, to build their nest. Okay, this is a picture of a tuft. Okay, it's grass, cluster of grass, dry grass, or even hair, we can say. So what do? They collect all this and then they build their nest. Their nests are round and big until their nests are round and big. Again, cow, oh what a noise. The whole time, even while they are flying, even while they are flying, except when they are picking up the twig or the crooked stick, they only pick it up by the beak, and once they leave it, again they start up cow, and they keep making this noise. There's such an irritating sound, and they make such a noise, especially in rainy weather, even more in rainy weather. In every climate they make, but in rainy weather it's even more. Good children always speak by turns. Now I want you to get the catch here. Look at this. The poet says, now the crow is like this. It makes noise. But he says, good children, they always speak by turns, but rooks always talk together. Which means, children, suppose a teacher is teaching you in the class and then she asks you some question. If everybody answers, will the teacher be able to understand? Definitely no. Because all of you are speaking at a time. So what the poet is trying to tell you, whenever there are group, there is mass of people, or whenever you ask something, answer only by turns or answer when you're asked. Don't answer in mass. Don't answer together in groups. Answer one after the other. Speak one after the other. This also shows us, children, that when one is talking, the other needs to listen. If everybody wants to talk, then who will listen? Okay? So one has to talk, the other has to listen. Only then you will understand things much more better. For example, let me also give you another example. Okay, now if the teacher talks to you and you also keep talking, will you be able to follow anything? Nothing. That's what it says. Good children always speak by turns. Okay, children? But rooks all talk together. Sometimes children, just imagine that we are all talking and nobody is listening. How will it sound? It will sound like in a container or in a tin, you put a lot of stones and you rubble it. What you'll hear? Only noise. You will not able to understand anything. That's the way it will be. So, good children should speak by turns, one after the other. Let me come back to the second line. They will build there every spring. What do you mean by spring? Now, as I told you, spring is a season. Okay, children? Now, you know about summer season, winter season, rainy season. Now, I'm going to teach you about spring season. Spring season is one of the most pleasant seasons. Is the king of seasons in India. Spring season comes after winter season and before summer season, which means between or mid-February to mid-April. Now, in which season are we in? We are in winter season, right children? This is December month. We are in winter season. It is quite chill now. It's very cold. We want our sweaters and we want to cover up in a blanket and sleep. Okay, because it's chill. Now, during the season, for the month of December and Jan and mid-February, we will have the cold winter. Now, between mid-February, like say 15th of February, up to 15th of April, you will have a climate that is not too hot nor too cold, but a climate that is moderate, a climate that is pleasant, a climate that is good, a weather that is good. That portion, that period is called as spring season. During spring season, as I told you, you will find a lot of trees and flowers that blossom, children. Okay? So now you understood what spring season, what is spring season, what is stream, what is slender, what is crooked, what is tufted, and how the moral of this is good children will speak in turns. That's the moral, okay? Always speak one after the other, not in mass. Suppose you are in a classroom and the teacher generally asks you a question. Lift your hands up. Wait for the teacher to ask the person who's raised the hands up to answer. That's the way you speak. Understood, children? Okay. Now I'm going to sing the song for you. Saw buildings on the trees, they build there every spring. Rooks are buildings on the trees, they build there every spring. Cow, cow is all they say, for none of them can sing. Cow, cow is all they say, for none of them can sing. The rooks are buildings on the trees, they build there every spring. Up before the break of day and up till late at night, for they must labor busily as long as it is light. They've up before the break of day and up till late at night, for they must labor busily as long as it is light. The rooks are buildings on the trees, they build there every spring. Many a crooked they bring, and many a slender twig, and many a tuft of moss until then dust are round and big. And many a crooked did they bring, and many a slender twig, and many a tuft of moss until their nests are round and big. The rooks are buildings on the trees, they build there every spring. Cow, cow, oh what a noise they make in rainy weather. Good children always speak by turns, but rooks all talk together. Cow, cow, oh what a noise they make in rainy weather. Good children always speak by turns, but rooks all talk together. The rooks are buildings on the trees, they build there every spring. So children, hope you enjoyed the song. I want you to practice the song and then do a voice recording of it and send it on the assignment group. Okay children, see you in the next session. Have a nice day.